Did you know that approximately 10% of the population is made up of narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths? That is 1 out of every 10 people. This means that chances are you've stumbled across a narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath at some point in your life. Or maybe even you found yourself in a relationship or friendship with one. Honestly, if you're like most of us, you may struggle to spot the differences between these 3 personality disorders, making it difficult to know how to deal with someone if you suspect they have one of them. But while narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths have some traits in common, they differ in important ways. Today on How to Charisma, we're going to take a look at 5 differences between narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths. Number 1. Genes versus environment. Have you ever wondered if someone is born with a personality disorder or whether it's created through their environment? As you'll see, the answer changes when you're talking about a narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath, because one of the main ways in which these 3 personality disorders differ is in their origin. Both genes and environment play a role in the development of narcissistic personality disorder. In those with narcissism, the part of the brain that controls empathy is often different from that of someone without a personality disorder, leading them to feel less empathy than an average person. Environment also plays a crucial role. If someone grew up in a toxic family or toxic environment that rewarded narcissistic behavior like ego-driven actions, they might develop similar traits. Sociopathic behavior develops more so from one's environment than from their genes. Sociopaths are typically born behaving like everyone else, but something happens to them, often in childhood, that triggers the development of a sociopath. This could be anything from child abuse or trauma to a brain injury that causes damage to the part of the brain that controls empathy. Survivalism can also play a role in the creation of a sociopath. For instance, if one grew up in an environment in which they needed to lie or steal in order to survive, this can fuel development for sociopathic traits. Psychopaths, on the other hand, differ from both narcissists and sociopaths in that they are born, not made. There is a major genetic component to this personality disorder, as the part of their brain that controls empathy is underdeveloped. Psychopaths exhibit psychopathic behavior very early on, and there is little environmental influence on their development. Now that we understand a little bit more about how these personality disorders come to be, let's look at a few relatable ways in which each one differs. Number 2. Empathy. Most people have the ability to empathize with others. They'll feel sorry for someone when they're hurt, be interested in their goals or hobbies, or feel happy for them when they achieve something big. Narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths, however, do not possess the empathy that the average person has. Let's look at narcissists. While they do have some empathy and are able to tell the difference between right and wrong, they possess less empathetic abilities than most. Furthermore, most of the empathy that they do have is driven by ego. For instance, a narcissist might not feel bad for another person if they're in a tough spot, but they feel shame or guilt when they're caught doing something wrong. This is because narcissists are focused on looking good in front of others, so if they do something that distorts that image, they'll feel bad about it. While sociopaths are born with average amounts of empathy, an environmental event like abuse or trauma robs them of their ability to feel for others. However, they do experience other emotions, which are often extreme. A key marker of sociopaths is that they can be emotionally unstable, lack impulse control, and feel underlying rage and anger in their day-to-day lives. Psychopaths are the most extreme when it comes to empathy. Unlike narcissists, who feel some empathy, and sociopaths, whose environment has eliminated their ability to feel empathy, psychopaths are born without emotional empathy, meaning they don't feel for others. They do, however, possess cognitive empathy, or the ability to intellectually recognize what others are feeling. Furthermore, psychopaths' autonomic nervous systems don't function like the average person's does. The autonomous nervous system is responsible for the fight or flight response that we get when we're in a dangerous or risky situations. If you stole a car or got in a fight, for instance, the average person would feel adrenaline coursing through them. Psychopaths, however, do not feel arousal in a fight or flight situation. This means that they rarely think or care about consequences for their actions, because they don't feel the same fear-based reaction to a potential consequence that the rest of us do. This also makes them very good liars because they do not have a heart rate or blood pressure spike when they lie. This means that a psychopath can even lie on a polygraph test without being caught because they have no physical reaction to lying. Number 3, motivation. What motivates someone says a lot about who that person is. Some people are motivated by money, others by career ambitions, and others by their family or friends. Narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths, however, are motivated in unusual ways. Narcissists are motivated by their egos. They have a sense of importance, entitlement, and grandiosity and believe that they are superior to others. This makes them take action that will benefit them, and only them. They don't care if their behavior hurts others along the way, as long as they get what they want. Sociopaths, on the other hand, are motivated by their emotions, or more specifically, their underlying anger and rage. This leads them to act out with little regard for societal rules or laws. In fact, they believe rules don't apply to them at all. Sociopaths are often daredevils who take huge risks because they like the feeling of being in danger. Finally, psychopaths are motivated by a goal, and many of these goals relate to criminal activity. While not every psychopath becomes a criminal, they are more likely than other people to commit crimes. As we mentioned before, the possibility of a consequence, anywhere from getting in trouble with a teacher to being arrested and thrown in jail, makes little impact on a psychopath's behavior once they've settled on a goal. Number 4, relationships. Another way in which narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths differ is how they interact in relationships. One of the key differences is that narcissists can be found in romantic relationships, while sociopaths and psychopaths are rarely involved in romance or any form of relationship at all. However, relationships with narcissists are often extremely toxic, filled with manipulative tactics and gaslighting. In fact, narcissists think of relationships not as a two-way street, but as how it can benefit them and only them. Because of this, relationships with narcissists are often strained and rarely work out long term. While narcissists see people as a means to getting what they want, sociopaths see people as tools and opportunities. Sociopaths don't care about others' feelings and view people as something to be used for their benefit. Scammers, for instance, are often sociopaths. They see the person they're scamming as a tool or opportunity to get something they want. Psychopaths, on the other hand, don't view people as tools or opportunities, but as objects. Because of this, they can be cruel and aggressive towards others. As children, psychopaths often get in trouble at school by bullying other kids or getting in fights. As adults, they often continue such behavior or can even take behavior to extremes. Serial killers, for instance, are often psychopaths. Altogether, this means that psychopaths have very few, if any, relationships in their lives. And because they see people as objects meant to be used, they rarely care whether they have friendships or romantic partners or not. Number 5, rules. As we mentioned before, narcissists know what the rules are and can distinguish right from wrong. However, because of their ego-driven behavior and belief that they are superior to others, they believe that they are above the rules and typically only care about rules to the extent that the rules benefit them. For instance, a narcissist might follow the speed limit on the way to work if they're not in a rush or want to avoid a meeting with their boss. A sociopath, however, often breaks rules for the thrill of it. While a narcissist might follow the speed limit if they're not in a rush, a sociopath would speed just for the excitement of it. As we discussed, sociopaths are fueled by their strong emotions and underlying anger and rage, which creates a desire for adrenaline-ridden experiences, and breaking the rules is one way to get that adrenaline rush. Lastly, psychopaths not only don't see right from wrong, but they don't even think about what's right and wrong. They not only don't care about the system or the rules of the system, but they don't even spend time thinking about the rules or laws. This means that they will break a rule or law, often without a second thought. Let us know in the comments if we missed anything. While you're there, let us know what topics you'd like covered next. As always, thanks for watching How to Charisma. Don't forget to like and subscribe.